How about from here? Does that work? Okay. Okay. And
good morning, good morning. So happy to see you. So happy there's more light in the morning.
Yes.
Anybody else excited about that?
Yes.
Okay. Ready to pass it on?
Yes, we are.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, out. You are the light, shining bright for all to see, keepers of the flame, pass it on. You are the way to a brighter tomorrow, keepers of the truth, pass it on. You are the light, shining bright for all to see, keepers of the flame. Pass it on. You are the way to a brighter tomorrow, keepers of the truth. Pass it on. Gather your generation, spread love across the nation. Show the world your dedication to peace on earth. You are the light, shining bright for all to see, keepers of the flame. Pass it on. You are the way to a brighter tomorrow, keepers of the truth. Pass it on. You are the hope that springs eternal for all the things to this world you shall bring. For peace on earth, for peace on earth. You are the light, shining bright for all to see, keepers of the flame. Pass it on. You are the way to a brighter tomorrow, keepers of the truth. Pass it on. Pass it on. Pass it on. Pass it on. Pass it on.
Oh, thank you, thank you. We welcome you this morning to Unity Spiritual Center of Portland, where we gather with these ideas. How many of us have started our week with I am the light? So if you haven't yet, I just invite you to breathe that in, to take that in, to know that the truth of our being is that we are the light. Every one of us, individually, collectively, and globally. And that is the truth that is underlying all. And as we gather in that awareness, we have the opportunity then to take that sacred breath, to open our hearts and say, wait a minute, I am here as a part of this sacred journey. I may not like it. I may not have labeled it sacred yet, but it is a sacred journey, and we are a part of recognizing who we are and how we stand in that. By the way, I'm Reverend Lisa Davis. I am a part of this spiritual center, and it's such an honor to be here and to hold this space of knowing. In just a moment, we're going to open this service in prayer, but I want, whether you're joining us in our virtual family, and we have so many people watching from different places and at different times, and yet just desiring to gather, we recognize that consciousness is all. The consciousness, we're growing in consciousness, we're holding a consciousness, we're being asked to step into a larger story and a larger idea. You know, Nelson Mandela, and hopefully I can find this here, yes, said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." So if there's anything that seemed impossible up until right now, I invite you to let that idea go. Rumi said, what you seek is seeking you. There is a higher understanding, a higher order, a larger story that we're being asked to birth. And it is seeking us because we're channels of openness and willingness. And it wasn't in my little plan right now how my life would go to be in this place at this time in this country. But the truth is, what we seek is seeking us. The freedom that this country was founded on is seeking us. And we are the channels, and we get to hold an opening for something larger than we may know this moment. As we begin this service in prayer, my invitation every week is to open our hearts. Sometimes stuff out there, we can just say, I don't want it. I close off. I don't breathe into it. I don't open because I'm afraid, or I don't like it, or it triggers something. But I believe when we gather and we open our hearts, which of course is one of the intelligence centers in our body and our being, and the energy of the universe flows through our hearts. When we open them together, we're saying, here we are, infinite presence. Transform us at depth. We are the channels. We are the light. We are the understanding. And so as we begin this service in prayer, I just invite you to take that sacred breath, to open your heart and to say yes to the presence and power within you, and allow it to encircle this country right here and right now. Let's begin this service in prayer. And we open, you may say, Mother, Father, God, Infinite Spirit, we open to this very vibration of love that has created us, that reminds us, cellularly, we are whole. We have all that we need in this moment to do all that is ours to do this day. This day, we have all that we need. We stay in this moment. We open to the largest idea that we can and say, here I am. And we take another step. And as we hold that space and we recognize the light that is within each of us, we also open our arms, recognizing the light in every being, everywhere. There are no exceptions to that light and that love and that presence. And this larger story moves through each of us, individually, collectively, and globally. And we simply open to healing, to a remembering of our wholeness, of the truth that we are one, that we have come to live as peace, in peace, with respect, with enough, that all beings that are hurting and say, I don't have a place to sleep, I don't have food, I don't have water, I don't have anything. We know there is enough, and we are a part of enough coming into expression. For this opportunity to gather in that consciousness and to live from the very vibration of love, we say, thank you, Infinite Spirit. And so it is. Amen. All right, Beth is here.
Good morning. Good morning. Hey, we are kicking off the spring program today. Yay. Very good. I first need to introduce our prayer chaplains, though, because we know they are the foundation of this ministry. Today, we have Carol and Annette, who are available to pray with you following the service today. Thank you, thank you. There are prayer requests in the backs of your seats if you feel a need to do that, and you can place them in the prayer box right here in front of me. Dial-a-Prayer is available for you to call during the week with an inspiring message. Our Sunday morning guided meditations happen at 10:30 in the chapel. You need a little calming and centering to get your Sunday going. That's a great place to be. And Annette leads our 12 Powers study group, which happens each Sunday at 9:15. And everyone's invited to attend. No signups, no cost. Just show up any Sunday, 9:15. So as I mentioned, today's our potluck after the service. Thank you all. To all of you who brought a dish to share. If you didn't, you're welcome to come anyway. We have plenty of food down there. Oh my goodness, plenty of food. I have to mention the Burn Cider food truck has donated a ton of food this morning. They're parking over in our parking lot. So yeah, we thank Ashley and Michael. They have really stepped up and contributed to our community as a thank you, and we're just so happy that we can be in community like that with them. So yeah, lots of food down there. You can always go back for seconds. You don't have to take everything the first time. I always mention that on Potluck Sunday. Yeah, but yeah, it's a really exciting time. Our spirit groups have filled up, which is another really wonderful thing. If you missed out on signing up for one of these book studies, see Annette. Stand up. I know you already did once, but it's her that you need to talk to if you need to get in one of those groups. We have a wait list going, and so anyway, let Annette know if you missed that opportunity last week. Okay, this Wednesday is the last opportunity to join the chaplains who have created a wonderful meditation and meaningful experience on Wednesday nights in February from 7 to 8. It's just a time where we wanted to offer connection and calm to anybody who needs it. So if you feel a need for that, come and join us this Wednesday at 7. It is a beautiful time. And then our current events book study group continues on Thursdays at 1:30 here in person. And they are reading Pemish, Practicing Peace in Times of War. So that's Thursdays at 1:30 here in the chapel. You don't have to be a regular attendee. You can show up anytime. There's always valuable information to learn in that group. They also have set up a what to do table. I know a lot of you are feeling overwhelmed, maybe a little stressed, about what's happening in our world. There's a lot of things, small acts of engagements that you can do that really make a difference. So we invite you to stop by the table and look there. And one small act of engagement, which is really a big act of engagement, is to know your pronouns and to use them. For our community, it's a perfect time to show your support for our LGBTQ plus community, and they want and need that support always. So we're here to do that for them. And we want to call you by name. We want to help the environment. So next Sunday is Name Tag Sunday, where you can meet with Drew before or after the service, make a permanent name tag, keep it here in the lobby so you always have it, you know where it is. So we invite you to do that next Sunday. Maybe plan to show up a little bit before the service. And put your pronouns on your name tag. Thank you, George. Do that too. So the LGBTQ plus group does meet today, the fourth Sunday after the service. Allies are always invited to join in. Because of our potluck today, they've reserved a couple of tables downstairs for the group. So the group can all sit and eat together, and then they'll come up and meet in the chapel. So there you go for that. Reverend Dick's next Zoom class begins this Thursday, February 27th. They are studying A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And it's a 10-week online class and book study. Registration is in the lobby, or you can do it using the link in the newsletter. Cost is $100 for all 10 classes, but there are scholarships available, so don't hesitate to do that. This coming Friday, the 28th, the ongoers meet at Powell's Seafood Restaurant on Powell Boulevard, 11:30. The ongoers is a group of 55 plus, one of our longest running groups here. They love getting together each month, socializing, eating. Well, okay, it would help if somebody told me that. Where are you meeting? Meeting at Elmer's on Sandy, 11:30. All right, you heard it here first, as did I. Flexibility. We love it. Always flexible. Name of the game. Change is the one thing, right, that we all do all the time here, for sure. All right, so with that, join them on Elmer's on Sandy this Friday. Let's see. Okay, it's also the last Sunday to get your name into the monthly raffle in the bookstore for bookstore credit. And Alice is doing this each month. No purchase necessary. All you got to do is drop your name in. And the winner will be announced next week, and a new raffle will begin. And I just want to say you got 10 more chances to win, okay? Because she's doing it every month. And so it's pretty good odds. And speaking of good odds, I want to mention Mardi Gras. This Saturday, Colleen will be out in the lobby today with tickets for sale. You can also get them online using our pull-down menu on the donate button on the website. You can get them there. They're $30 and includes a wonderful big meal. We got some card games. We got fortune telling, mask making. We got a photo booth. It's going to be a great time, and you're not going to want to miss it because, you know, we need some great times, right? We need to laugh. We need to be together in community with like-minded people, and we just need to check out for a minute and have a good time. So plan on doing that this coming Saturday here at Unity. Last but not least, I want to mention we have a third-generation Unity of Portland Girl Scout who has set up out in our lobby, who's going to sell cookies today, because you got to have a place to get the cookies, right? So they're here, and you can do that this morning. All right. We welcome anyone who's with us for the first time today. If this is your first time, we trust you got a welcome packet when you came in. Looks like this. If you didn't, raise your hand. I've got ushers who have a handful of those. They would love to put one in your hands. On the back, there's a yellow card, and we would love to for you to fill that out with your information. This gets you on our newsletter mailing list that comes out each Thursday. On the back of this card, this is something new, which is wonderful, are all the ways that you can serve here in our community. So if you have something that you really like to do or something that speaks to your heart, check that box and we'll get up with you. There's a rose sticker on the front. We'd love for you to put that on your name tag today so we know who you are. Please come down to Coffee and Connection and hang out with us. We'd love to have you. Eat some good food, meet some great people, and just have a good week. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Beth. It is wonderful having Beth's humor and the ability to move through life as we are right now. That is what life is asking of us. Can we move? Can we shift? Can we allow things to be in flux? And can we welcome the unwelcome, which is Pema Chodron's newest book, Welcoming the Unwelcome. Sometimes we have to look at it and then find the truth of who we are and stand in that larger story. We want to welcome all of you who are here for the first time. You know, in this room today, there's people, well, Robert Gross, it's good to have you back again. He's been ushering up in the balcony for at least 40 years. June Campbell, I know I saw a piece from you in the 60s when we were going through the archives of some of the things, and then there's people who it's their first day. All of us are gathering for connection. We're gathering for ways that we can find a larger story and a place where humanity can remember the truth of who they are. And this is just one of the places that offers this. If these ideas work for you, I would encourage you to become a part. Right now, we need constant reminding of the truth of who we are and that we are all connected, interconnected. And the design is that we bond, that we hold each other's hearts and ideas and minds and beings. And so if these ideas work for you, I would encourage you to become a part. If they do not, I would encourage you to continue seeking. Find a place that does know who you are, that does remind you of the truth of your being, and become a part so that it's just that anchoring and standing in ideas that are larger than we may be able to hold individually. So we are going to stand and we're going to sing. And we are singing the Prosperity Chant by Karen Drecker. Okay.
Stand and sing and party and get your clappers, snappers, body moving. 1, 2, 3, ah. Here we go. What do I want? What do I desire? What will bring me to my highest good? What do I want? What do I desire? What will bring me to my highest good? Prosperity, prosperity. I claim it. I claim it. Abundance, abundance is mine. Love, love flows through me. I feel joy, all the time. I can have it. I deserve it. I claim it. It is mine. I can have it. I deserve it. I am it. It is mine. Bring it down. Oh, peace fills my heart. I surrender everything. Health is my birthright. Bring it up. Oh, passion helps me Oh, I can have it. I deserve it. I claim it. It is mine. I can have it. I deserve it. I am it. It's my time. I release and let go. I accept what is mine. I can have what I want. And let spirit direct the flow. Life is good. Life is fun. Life is great. This song is done. Good job, everybody. Good job.
And we just invite you to turn to those around you with a handshake, with a welcome, with a namaste, a hug, however you'd like to say welcome to this world. am. I didn't actually get to say. Do I have time? Good morning, everybody.
Hello there. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You know, and I acknowledge, by the way, for most of the congregation, greeting your neighbor is actually listed as the most important time of the service, just so you know. For others, they would rather not have it ever. So I acknowledge both sides of where it is. It's probably the most commented on thing. But as we move through that, and whether you love connecting verbally and in this way with strangers or people you don't know or people you've seen but you don't truly know their journey, or you are one who would rather just hold a space inside, as we move now into the time when we do a short meditation, and it's just anchoring again and again the truth of our being, the truth of this quantum field that we live and move and have our being within, and the acknowledgement that that moves through me. I just invite you to open your heart and your mind to this music and to this meditation, and to remember we can begin these practices. We can live in this way daily as we open to a larger story.
I said a prayer for you today. I said a prayer for you today. I said a prayer for you, a prayer for you today. I said a prayer for you today. I said a prayer for you today. said a prayer for you, a prayer for you today. I said a prayer for you today.
Prayer for you today.
I said a prayer for you today.
Prayer for you today.
I said a prayer for you, a prayer for you today.
And as we breathe in fully, relaxing our bodies, opening within, the recollection, the understanding of this divine presence within reminds us with every breath, I am that I am. Life moves through me. I breathe it in. I recognize that it resides in every cell, in every tissue of my body. I am that I am. I open to a larger story, all that I am to understand this day. I open to all that I am called to let go of this day. I open in the silence, in the silence. And as I continue to open throughout this day, I open to understanding, a deeper knowing of the truth of my being and the foundation of this universe. Pure love, pure life, presence, one power. And for this opportunity to walk through this day, understanding the silence, understanding I am that I am moves through me now. I say thank you, Infinite Spirit. And so it is. Amen.
I said a prayer for you today. I said a prayer for you today. I said a prayer for you, a prayer for you today. I said a prayer for you today. I said a prayer for you today. I said a prayer for you, a prayer for you today. I said a prayer for you today.
Prayer for you today.
I said a prayer for you today.
Prayer for you today.
I said a prayer for you, a prayer for you today. I said a prayer for you today. Whenever I have hurt in my heart, I ask, what would love do? Whenever I don't know where to turn, I ask, what would love do? Whenever I don't know what to say, I ask, what would love do? What would love do? Anytime that I am stuck in my pain, I ask, what would love do? Anytime that I feel ashamed, I ask, what would love do? Anytime that I can't find my truth, I ask, what would love do? What would love do? Oh, what would love do? Love has all the answers. Love makes no demands. Love will lead me to the truth and help me to understand that life is all about love. When I have something hard I need to say, I ask, what would love do? When it seems another block is in my way, I ask, what would love do? When it seems I can't face another day, I ask, what would love do? What would love do? Oh, what would love do? Love has all the answers. Love makes no demands. Love will lead me to the truth and help me to understand that life is all about love. Oh, what would love do? When I am feeling limitations, I have to ask, what would love do? I need to look into my soul and ask, what would love do? What would love do? Oh, what would love do? If I'm feeling pain, I ask, what would love do? If I need to say something hard, I'm gonna ask, what would love do? What will love do? If I feel stuck in my ways, I say, what would love do? Bring it into my soul and ask, oh, what would love do? What would love do? I say, what would love do? What would love do?
Wow. Thank you to our wonderful music team. What would love do? What would love do when we're in the midst of things that we may not like or places we may not want to be? Anybody have quite a week? We have 1, 2, 3 people. If for me, this movement of what's happening and what's asking for me, what I keep looking at is, what is it asking me? What is life right now asking me to know, to be? How am I being asked to use these truths that I believe with all of my heart are valid and they are universal truths? It's not the only way, it's not the only answer, but what are we being asked to do? And so as we begin our 7-week program, which we do a couple times a year, this year we're using the book, The Gifts of Imperfection. I think they have 2 different covers, so whichever one you have, it's still by Brene Brown. And it's many of you are in spirit groups, and many of you are not because they're full. But I would invite you, whether you follow along with the book here from a Sunday service, I'll be talking about a section of it for 7 weeks. And if you get the book, or many of you already have it, and you want to follow along, it's wonderful. If you're in the group, that's great. You get to talk to a group. But the idea of why we do this is the universe is asking us to change. Anybody got that message anywhere? It's not just asking another political party to change. That would be, that would be really easy, wouldn't it? If they could change, we'll be okay. But the truth is, the universe has been asking us for a long time to be a part of breaking open old ideas and old thought system. And I talk a lot about evolution. I've never known a time in my life where evolution was not a household word. It was talked about, it was looked at, it was what is the science, what are the pieces, how does it affect me? And I keep asking myself, who are we right now in humanity? What is our journey along what I believe is an evolutionary journey? And right now may not look like evolution, but when you break something open, there's an opportunity for something to be born, for something to be stood for, to be anchored, to ideas to take place and have a way to form that we may not understood. And perfectionism has something to do with it. We have all been raised in a capitalistic society. You can call it colonialism, you can call it patriarchy, you can call it all these things. Humanity is moving out of these old stories that said you have to show up this way and you have to be this to be included. We know what's being asked. Now the question is, what parts of that mindset do I have? Because I thought, hey, I'm pretty progressive. I've made these changes. I've worked on myself. Aren't I done? Can't I just walk through and move? Actually, that's not what's happening. And some of the breaking apart has to do with this idea of perfectionism. I've talked about it a lot. It's just one of the mindsets that actually keep us in I'm not enough and I'm not worthy. And they keep us in shame, and they keep us in blame, and they keep us in places where we aren't able to know the full truth of our being and live these truths we know. And they've been passed along through humanity so long. What would happen if we got rid of the need to be perfect? Would your life have any difference in it at all? No need to be approved of or appreciated or loved by someone out there, because there's a love that's a foundational love. And there's a mindset, and this is not ego taken over. This is saying love loves me, and it loves you, and it has the courage to meet life right here, right where I am. Pamela Chardon, in her book, Welcoming the Unwelcome, says sometimes we meet life with a broken heart. And it can feel like that. Now, hearts don't break, actually, but it feels like it. And from that place, I can meet this day and know right where I'm standing is holy ground. I can take my shoes from off my feet. I can look at what's burning and what feels like it's falling away. And I can know that that place also offers me an opportunity to break open some of the places in myself and find something more. And so we're going to start with the gifts of imperfection, because I want us to realize we're all a part of the change. Now, I believe there's going to come a point when we have to stand, and we're in it now. We have to stand for the beliefs that we have. This isn't about, I've had people say, I'll just pray and then everything will work out there. What I've been raised with is pray and move your feet. So I am not saying we are not an active part of what's happening. I'm saying we do both and. Because if I pray and say, universe, would you just please take all these mindsets away from me so I don't have to go through the breaking open of having that happen? The universe usually laughs a little and says, well, honey, how about if you handle this? Anybody got anything right in your life that the universe says, look at this? And then we get to find the ways in ourselves that we can do that. Now, Brene Brown, many of you have heard her. She's a fabulous speaker. What I think is so interesting about this journey, and this changed my life, I've seen so many other beings where it did. She actually, as a shame researcher, she was looking at all of these pieces, and she kept coming up against these lists. And she said, I had lists and lists of people who were living their life fully and who had all these difficulties, but they were still alive and moving and happy, and life was moving through them. And she began, and as she does, she puts, these are one side and this is the other side. And I'm hoping I have this down here. I just had to laugh. She said, I did the do column. And it was words like worthiness, rest, play, trust, faith, intuition, hope, authenticity, love, belonging, joy, gratitude, and creativity. Anybody like that do column? What's fascinating, she said, and this was in, I think, 2005 and 2006, she said the don't column was dripping with words like perfection, numbing, certainty, exhaustion, self-sufficiency, being cool, fitting in, judgment, and scarcity. And she said she just got hit in the face when she realized the don't column was her life. And she actually put this stuff away for 2 years. She went into therapy. She went in with a list of the do, and she goes, I want that. And, of course, the counselor laughed at her and said, well, honey, and then proceeded. And in some of her workshops, she shared some of what she went through to do that. But she started with the idea of perfect and the perfectionism that we're driven to. Now, I've said it a few times. If you grew up in a Bible-based community where the idea of be ye therefore perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect, you might want to be aware that that translation is considered incorrect by Bible scholars today, that the words don't actually mean that. The word perfect is better translated as whole. And this idea of Father in heaven, they know that at Jesus' time, his belief, the heavens, and I've seen a picture of what the night sky would have looked like from Jesus' viewpoint without the light that is in most of society and the cement and all of that. It's miraculous. And the belief in these heavens was an acknowledgement of something larger than he was, than we are. And so this idea of be ye therefore whole, we got to find the places in ourselves where we haven't believed we were whole and may have been raised with an idea that we're not enough or we're not worthy or shame or guilt or fear. Just out of curiosity, any of us raised in that way? I want to see hands. I want to see. We have been raised with these old ideas. And so going back and beginning to pull off some of these ideas allows us freedom, and it allows us an ability. Our brain, when we take away fear and anxiety and perfectionism, our brains function better. Our ability to see our world and to be able to find answers and to chart our course depends on where we are with that. So what do we do? What does this mean? Eckhart Tolle, and she puts this in there. She said, forgive yourself for not being at peace. The moment you completely accept your non-peace becomes transmuted into peace. Anything you can accept fully will get you there, will take you into peace. This is the miracle of surrender. What would happen if we agreed to accept that it might be non-peace right now? It might not be a day like I would like to wake up to. And I have heard quite a few Unity students, and I was raised an idea that that's who you are. You're a Unity student. You're a lifelong learner. You're studying ideas and spiritual principles, that if you're perfect, you'll never be off balance or out of peace. I don't believe that's what we're asked. I believe what we're being asked is to allow the peace that's within us to say, when it doesn't look like peace, love it. What would love do right now? Would it attack you for not being at peace? You know, this morning as I was leaving my house, both of my daughters are at a farm in Salem. They've been here all weekend. It's one they've gone to for years. I thought, oh, this is wonderful. I got up, I meditated, I did things, and I was leaving, and I realized I didn't let the dog out. Now, so I went back in the house and went back out, and he refused to go out. And I'm like, I have to leave. I have my potluck dish. I have all this stuff all lined out. I have my stuff to wear to go get them at the farm. I had all life planned out, and he just stood there and refused. So there I am pushing a dog down the steps, only my steps now in the backyard are filled with moss, and I didn't realize it. So I went sliding, the dog's sliding. I'm looking at this, and he just stood there right next to me. And I thought, life can't happen like this. This is not looking like peace. This is not looking like the being I've just meditated to be. And I looked at that, and I thought, okay, God, what is this? And I just stood there, and he finally just kept looking at me, and I just kept breathing. I thought, you know, the only thing I know to do right now is breathe. I don't have answers. But I know that there's a journey that I was late. Oh, well, I don't know what to say. Life is what it is. And eventually he went down. He went to the bathroom. He kept looking at me, and then he came up, and he just walked inside and was like, fine, you know, because he wants to go. He was very upset. That's what he didn't. He wanted to be in the car so he could go for a ride, and he was very upset that I wasn't allowing that. And so that's life right now, and I'm kind of making fun of some little thing. I did go and change from a dress into pants because I didn't think the white and the mud and the things would look quite as good as some of the rest of it. But that's what life is doing. It's saying move. It's just life. It's just the journey we're on. And right now, it's saying break open. Choose a way to love ourselves that's radical, because I've been hearing this thing of joy is a radical act. It's an act of resistance. We get to find the truth of our being and live within it, because it allows us then to hold another story. One of the other books I'm reading right now, and I can't even tell you which one it is, works with the idea from Joseph Chilton Pearce. He wrote a book years ago called The Crack in the Cosmic Egg. Oh, it's from Richard Rohr. Richard Rohr is using some of this. And I was fascinated with the concept, because when we look at evolution and we look at these ideas, he's looking at an egg. I kind of look at it as Matryoshka dolls from Russia, where the first one is my story. All of us know my story. Some of us fight for my story. I don't want it to change. The next evolution piece, and what breaks open this cosmic egg, is our story. And again, our story, many people, many of us, have a way it has to look like this. The next evolutionary piece has to be others' stories. Others' stories, which means we're more than just me or you. It's other stories. And you might think, oh, that's great. That's fine. Then it moves into the story. And he said, the story is forgiveness. It's the path of love. It's an open heart. It's a finding of something more. But I realized a lot are stuck in my story. And it's not big enough for our story. And what I'm looking for in me is, where am I stuck in my story? And how can I allow a bigger story to come forth? And so I can say they're wrong. But at some point, the standing is going to have to be people together. And that means we have to have a different story than they're wrong. Because that means it's my story or it's this story. But those are two my stories fighting. At some point, our story gets to be one that includes more. So for me, I am really working at what is a larger story. Rumi said, Stop acting so small. You are the universe in a static motion. You are the universe in a static motion. So these ideas, and I want to start with the word that Brene Brown wrote at the top of her page was wholehearted. She wanted to go towards wholehearted living. How would that look in your world? Wholehearted living, what would it look like? She came to the conclusion that as she started practicing the do's and all of these larger ideas, what showed up in her world that she was so surprised with was courage, compassion, and connection. And those had not been part of her language. She said courage was always put out there, but she didn't understand what it takes to stand in our truth. I'm going to love myself right here, regardless of what somebody else thinks of me, says of me, or does, because I am. There's a light in me. And so these ideas, she calls them the gifts of imperfection, are courage, compassion, and connection. And her desire is that every one of us shifts into a way of wholehearted living that allows us, even in times of great pain, to get up and to say, there's something in me that came to live this life. This is not a mistake, or we wouldn't be here. If we go by an idea, there are no mistakes, somehow, somewhere, this has to happen for us to choose something larger. Last night I was watching part of the NAACP Image Awards, and one of the things that I saw about myself on there, and I believe it came from Kamala Harris when she was accepting an award, but it came several different times, and she said something about the idea that we have to show up not knowing whether we will win or not. Not many of us in this country grew up in a life where you didn't know when we went to war, when the U.S. went to war, whether we would win or not. And I realized that was another layer of my white privilege, that I grew up in a world that I didn't know that. And so what I'm hearing from a lot of people is, my world's wiped out. And what I heard several speakers say is, we know what to do. We've been here before. We've done this. And I thought, oh, self. We're being invited into a different world. And part of that is growing my consciousness to where I can meet it and understand our stories. Somewhere in there is a breaking open. And when it happens, the gift is that I find the courage, and by the way, courage means of the heart. That's what the root words of that word mean. When I have the courage to speak my truth and to stand in that, into the language inside my head, and to say, no, you have no power over me. I am enough. I am whole. Brene says her thing is, and how do they list it? When we wake up in the morning, no matter what I get done today, no matter what happens in my world today, I am enough. I've done enough. I am enough right where I am. It's a beginning to allow a falling away. Some of you in here may say, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that. My invitation to every one of us is just ask, Spirit, what would you have me know? What is it that's hurting? What is it in me that needs to grow? I don't know about you, but the universe responds when I ask. What is it that I'm to know to stand in a larger way, in a larger essence? Because the wholehearted living means I put myself into this time. And I have to have the courage not to say it's all your fault. Because then I don't have to show up and grow. And anytime there's a larger story that's birthed, everybody has found a larger story. And we've all found ways to do it. So what do we do with that? You know, connection is another piece. Has it been, this idea, this mindset of, I don't need anybody else. Anybody grow up with that? I can do it myself. I want to be self-sufficient. That's a part of that mindset. That the ability to ask for help. The ability to look to another outside of our circle and to connect is a part of that. What they've shown is there is a biological need to bond with humanity in every one of us. Were we raised with an awareness of that? They've shown it clearly. It's an inner desire, and we won't feel fulfillment until we begin doing it. I've been fascinated by our community. Last year, our theme and our idea was you belong. This year, I've quietly been working with the idea of we belong. But what's fascinating is people are having the courage to reach out. And they're coming back and saying, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know that's who I was. And so as we relearn who we are in community here, and it might feel like, well, this isn't the real world. All around us, there are people asking what needs to be broken open, what needs to change in me, what do I need to learn, where do I need to go? There's plenty of them saying, no, I won't do it. My experience is, and Jack Boland, one of the Unity ministers, he said, I was a down-in-the-gutter drunk. And he was. He went through recovery 28 times or something ridiculous. He had a church that ended up having 2,000 in it. And it was an AA church. And he said, it doesn't matter how many times you're down. It's how many times you get up. And he said, many times I watch people, and finally they come to that place where they're going to get up and live. And he said, and there's an awakening that happens in an instant. And he said, that's what happens to me, and I see it all around me. So whether we just, sometimes we do that. We just go down, face down. At least sometimes I do that. I go face down until suddenly there is this cosmic 2x4 that finally I wake up and go, oh my gosh, I could choose peace instead of this. I could choose love instead of this. I could choose a different story. I could recognize I can ask for help. I can be a part of something more. And we're that part. The connection is a cellular invitation that we actually are born within. And some of us grew up in families where it's just these little boxes. And we haven't learned to connect. And so we are the ones to break those open, to find that. Anais Nin, and the time came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. It is more painful. Emily Cady said, every day, every moment, we choose bondage or we choose liberty. And if we're in bondage, so what? I celebrate when I'm imperfect. But I just ask myself, how's it working, honey? Have you enjoyed the day in just total sadness and hurt and pain? Am I loving myself? And would I maybe want to choose something a little different? We can choose every moment, and yet there's nothing wrong with where we are. It's a paradox, and we got to hold both sides. We got to hold where we are, what we're doing, and how we do it. And so when we do, then we move. And by the way, I went from courage to connection, I realized, and I didn't do compassion. And compassion is a muscle we build. Can I open my heart to humanity around me? Because we were taught in a mindset of just look after yourself and your family. Just look after this. Or serve in this way, but you're above them anyway. Anybody grow up with any of this? And does any of it resonate? I mean, it was just a taught thing. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate you. It's a fascinating journey we're on. It is something that Elizabeth Lesser, in her book Broken Open, said these times that tear us apart are the greatest gifts in our lives if we'll follow them through. And compassion is an ability to suffer with, to see the rest of humanity, where for much of our lives there were blinders on. When I left Dayton, Ohio, my dear friend, I said, I've still never been to your house. And she was black, and often we'd go places, and she became a Unity minister. She's an amazing being. But we'd go places, and I was like, what's going on? And she said, Lisa, this is what I live with all the time. They wouldn't serve her, or they'd be rude, or they'd be, and I was in culture shock. I went to her neighborhood on the east side of Dayton, and I realized I had lived there 24 and a half years and did not know that neighborhood existed. And in that neighborhood were doors that had she said, look, my neighbor there were 3 bullet holes in there. There's this. And I started realizing I thought I had evolved so far. And it became an understanding that I had evolved to one place. But I had to break open my understanding and my ideas. So my desire for every one of us is that we start our day knowing, claiming we are whole, just as we are. We celebrate our imperfection. We celebrate the truth of our being. And whatever needs to fall apart and is imperfect, we celebrate it too. Our lives are designed so that this blossoming, this coming through the soil, this coming through the dark places, and something larger opens. But we also get to meet our days with courage, with compassion to open up and say, there are other stories around here. What's happening in the other stories around me? And with connection, to know we came not just to connect with people that look like us or stories that are like us, but to connect with humanity because we're all a part of that web. Thank you. So, thank you. One of the pieces we're working with, I will be starting a class hopefully in the next 4 or 5 weeks called The Soul of Money. It's by Lynn Twist, and it is the ideas of reclaiming our wealth through getting rid of some of the lies we've taught. She was a major fundraiser for the Hunger Project around the world. And she said, these are 4 lies that we've believed, and until we don't believe them, we will never heal world hunger. And the first one was simply the lie of scarcity. We believe there's a pie. It's what happens now. Greed comes from a belief there's not enough and I have to get more or I'm not there. And she said, until we wake up and say there is enough, period. That means when we wake up, there's enough energy, there's enough love, there's enough in me to meet my day. This is an ongoing thing. And so as we take this time for generosity, I would just invite you to allow that breath of enough to permeate your being, to know that we are actually living in a world of enough. This planet has enough for every being to live in love as love. And we're a part of it. So we're going to receive our tithes and our love offerings, and there's cards in front of you. There's also, it's up here of different ways you can give, whether it's on your cell phone, through our website, or just simply in person. They'll go around and collect that also. But it's an opportunity to know we are a part of breaking open old ideas. It starts in our world and it expands out. And so as we say our blessing, I just invite you to breathe this in. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen.
One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is, yeah. One life living as you and me, one life light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so grateful, I just want to shout. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. Oh, I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so grateful, I just want to shout. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. Mary Ellen. Now we're gonna break it down. One life, one life, one love. One life, one life, one love. One life, one life, one love. Oh, one life, one life, one love. One life, one life, one love. One life, one light, one love. Oh, one life, one life, one love. One life, one life, one love. One life, one life, one love. Oh, one life, one life, one love. One life, one life, one love. One life, one life, one love. Oh, one life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. 'Cause God is all there is. 'Cause God is all there is. 'Cause God is all there is.
Thank you, thank you. Beautiful. This idea that this one presence and one power, whatever we call it, God, the infinite good, infinite intelligence, divine light, that presence is everywhere available, and it is no less present in this moment, in this time, than it has ever been. And so part of it is us remembering to call it forth. We invite all of you to join us downstairs for our wonderful potluck. We have enough food. Let me just tell you, there is a lot of food. And that's wonderful. We're so grateful all of you are here. So please, whether you brought something or not, please join us. In just a moment, we're going to sing our youth in. Part of what I believe every one of us has agreed to do on a cellular level is to acknowledge the light in our youth, to recognize they have what they need and that they are whole, infinite, and complete, and it's not up to them to live up to the way we want them to be, but instead to open to the world they desire to birth. And so I just invite you to create an energy field of love. The love in your heart touches other hearts. We know that. It's quantum physics. And so just allowing ourselves to encircle this center with love as they walk in, reminding them of the truth of who they are.
You are the star of the morning. You are heaven smiling at us. You're God's gift of tomorrow. Oh, how we love you. Oh, how we love you. You are the star of the morning. You are heaven smiling at us. You're God's gift of tomorrow.
are blessed.
We are blessed. If you see my eyes rolling around in my head, this is a plea. All of these kids deserve you because we need more people downstairs with the kids. Please think about it. You don't have to do it every single Sunday, but it's very fun, and you will learn as much as you learn up here.
That's right. That is true. The place I started and how I learned to break down truths in small enough pieces for me to understand was in the youth and family ministry. And I did it for years because I wanted to understand these ideas. That's wonderful. At one point, yes. All right, we have someone sharing with us.
My name is Kaylee.
Just say
It's too. I don't want to do it anymore.
That's okay. Kaylee, we appreciate you being honest. That
That's all
is
right.
good. Thank you, Kaylee.
We're
We
working on the
appreciate that.
golden rule, okay? And our teens, our high schoolers are at a winter reunion in Linwood, Washington
With
today.
other teens from around the 4 or 5 states.
And we have a quick surprise.
Okay.
Hold tight.
I am honored, Reverend Lisa, to celebrate 18 years of being a reverend for our Unity Church.
All I can say is I don't know how 18 years has gone,
Lisa, Reverend Lisa,
and I'm so grateful.
we have a few more words.
Good. Okay, I'll be quiet because I don't know what.
I just wanted you to know that you make this Unity Church an incredible place to be. I have never felt a more loving, supportive, and inclusive community. And I know it's you that holds this glue together with your extraordinary leadership.
Thank you.
Reverend Lisa, we love you, we cherish you, we honor you, and we thank you for 18 years of loving service.
Thank you so much for showing us how to love in such an expansive, abundance way. Your heart means so much to us. Thank you.
I was going to say, for those of you who may or may not know, this is part of the board that is
Yes.
speaking to her right now. And so we have a card for you, and we also have a gift for you. We know how you like plays, so we're going to get you back to some plays. And I also wanted to say, I remember the first week that I came to this church, and you know what it's like to be a first-timer. And when I talked to Reverend Lisa, I felt like, wow, I'm important, I belong. And I thank you so much for that. And I hope you're here at least another 18 years.
And I'm going to, could you do a blessing for the food downstairs?
Yes, I will. Thank you. Do you know, when I moved to Portland, Oregon, and as many of you know, quit ministry, the universe laughed at me. I started attending this community, and all I wanted was a home. I wanted a place for myself and my daughters. And I just want to say thank you for being that home and for allowing me to do it. So thank you all. I feel like we walk this journey together. We just simply walk it together. And I've just been asked to bless the food for downstairs. So I'll go into that and just say thank you, Infinite Spirit, for this opportunity for us to gather, to break bread, to all of those who created the wonderful food we'll eat, and to the 100 years that this ministry has offered this opportunity to gather. Thank you, thank you. infinite Spirit. And so it is. Amen. And we're gonna stand and join hands and make that same intention that we have held and continue to hold. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with
Oh, yes. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And as we close with this wonderful, wonderful unity prayer, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And our kids stamp to make it firm. We're going to sing them out with "Thank You, God" or something. I don't know what we're singing about.
the light. I'm gonna move to the light. I'm gonna speak of the light. I'm gonna sing with the light. I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. I'm gonna move to the light. I'm gonna speak of the light. I'm gonna sing with the light. I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit